Hi, all you cool cats and kittens. We have 7th grade math here. I'm going to skip over the last parts of Module 5 because we are on limited time now and we're just going to get to the basics. So we're going to jump ahead to what I think is way more important and easier to understand. So we're going to start with 6-1. On your instructional sheet, before we left for the break, I told you to do all of Module 6 and try the practice test, and then we'd go over it. Well, so now we're going to go over it remotely. So we're going to start with 6-1. I'm just going to fly through this here and then show you some practice problems. So over here, it starts with one-step addition equations. You kind of started this at the end of last year. Then this jumps all the way over here to subtraction. So if you can see, we're subtracting them, so they're adding. Over here, there's adding, so you subtract. Right, so we've done adding, subtracting. Now, there's a 8y, so that means we're multiplying. So then you do the inverse of that and you're dividing. Then they throw you into division. All right, there's the fraction, so you divide, so then actually you're doing the inverse, which is multiplying, and all that. And then it goes over here to fractions because they hate us. We're not going to focus on the fractions much. We're just going to focus on the main parts. Obviously, that's a lot to take in, what I just told you. So don't worry. We're just going to focus on the main parts. So you should have already done this. On page 287, 6-1, we're going to do a few of these. And I may actually break this down into 2 videos, so then that way you can kind of go back and see. So we have 6, oh gosh, it's fuzzy, sorry. 6 plus y equals -8. So we're trying to solve each equation. What equals y? Y equals what? If we plugged in a number here, that would make this equal -8. 6 plus something equals -8. That would be what y is. That's what we're doing. You could do this with mental math, but eventually it's going to get harder and you're going to be like, yeah, I need a calculator or I need to use some logic. Okay, so we're going to start to do it this way. So if you have, hi Luke, I'm doing a video. If you have 6 plus y equals -8, what you want to do with all of these is isolate the variable. So the variable is what? It's the letter. So you're going to isolate the variable and keep the variable on one side. So if you have this, y is over here, we're just going to leave that y here. That means we have to get rid of the 6. So this 6 is a positive because there's nothing in front of it. That means it's a positive. All right. So you do the opposite of positive. What's the opposite of plus? It's a minus. So we go 6 minus 6, and we have to do it on both sides of the equation. If you don't, then you're just going nowhere. So 6 minus 6, that cancels each other out, leaving just a y and the equal sign. And then we have -8 minus 6. What's -8 minus 6? So you spent $8, then you spend another 6. You have spent how much? -14. You've spent $14, okay? So that's where if you have a positive, you do the opposite, which is a minus. Over here. Okay, what's the variable? It's c. So you want to leave that c over there and isolate it. Get it all alone, kind of like we are in our house right now, all isolated. Can you tell I'm bitter? So the 4, is it positive or negative? It's positive. There's nothing in front of it, so you just assume it's positive. So it's a 4, so you do the opposite, which is minus. Okay, and you minus it from both sides of that equal sign. There's logic to it, but I'm just going to speed through this. What's 4 minus 4? Nothing. It's 0, so we just cross it off. We don't need to worry about it. Cool. That leaves a c and an equal sign. Doesn't matter that it's on the opposite side. Now, what's -12 minus 4? So you spent $12, then you go somewhere else and you spend $4 more. What does that equal? So you're adding 2 negatives. You're adding 2 things you spent. So 12 plus 4 is 16, and it's a -16. Okay. Now over here, p minus 11 equals -5. The p needs to be left alone. So you have a minus sign in front of this 11. Okay. That means you do the opposite. Over here, They were positive, so we minused them. Now this actually is easier. So when you see the minuses, it's actually going to be easier because you just add them. So you're adding 11 on both sides of that equal sign. So 11, negative 11 plus 11 is nothing. Just leaves you with the P. Okay, and the equal sign. Negative 5 minus 11. Oops, plus 11. Oh my gosh, I need more coffee. Sorry. But you know this, you know what, see? Okay, so it's easy to make that mistake. Just watch it. I was already in that mode. So it's a plus 11. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. Negative 5 plus 11. So a lot of you are starting to really get this down pat. So you just gotta be careful and go slow and think. If you spend 5 but then earned 11 bucks, what would that look like? Or you could look at it as you have 11 bucks and you've spent 5. So you would have 6. P equals 6. It's really hard filming this while holding the phone. I'm going to stop the video there, and then we'll come back and we'll do the multiplication division. So that's the adding and subtracting to get it. Before I go, if you were to plug in this negative 14 to y, if you have 6 plus a negative 14, you will get negative 8. Okay, if you have negative 16, plug it in for C. 4 plus a negative 16, you're going to get negative 12. Same over here. If you have 6, you plug it in here. 6 is a positive minus 11, you'll be at negative 5. Okay? All right. See you again soon. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm just kidding. You don't need to do that. It's going to be on the link.